Good morning, Facebook peeps. How's it going? And I'll let everybody hop on here for just a second. I'm going to pull up my Facebook on my iPad. Nope. That's my puppy dropping bones on the floor. So there's that. Hey, Chris, how are you this morning? We're kicking the puppy out of the house so that she doesn't cause any mischief. Hey, Cindy. Okay. So, good morning. I know you're not seeing my face today, and there's a good reason for it. It's a mess. I don't have any makeup on. My hair's still wet. I just got out of the shower. I've had kind of a hectic morning. So we'll have story time in a little bit, and I'll share my hectic morning story with you. But I want to start with, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It is October 1st, the beginning of the new Stampin' Up! Year. So some of you have seen my posts about ending the year and meeting goals. And I do want to share, it was so close, but I did not make my goal, which is a bummer, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It was a personal goal of mine that I've been trying to achieve for 2 years. And I really wanted to do it and I didn't, but that's okay. So, moving forward, that was fun, but it's a brand new year. So we're going to start today strong and going forward. And I'm so excited. There's just something so fun and exciting about a new year. It's like a fresh start. So, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Stampin' Up's new Stampin' Up! Year starts today. So our fiscal year runs from October 1st to September 30th. So I have several things to talk about today. One of them being World Card Making Day, which is coming up this week. And we have some awesome sales going on. So those have been posted on my Facebook page. They'll be posted other places. I'll send it out in an email. So if you want to purchase any products with that 10% discount, I think it's a 10 or 15% discount. I don't know. I need to reread the thing. But those are all on the Stampin' Up! Site, and you can shop for those. Tomorrow, I am releasing a special for the month of October that I've never done before, so it's going to be interesting. So you'll have to watch out for that. I might even share it with you here in a little bit. But yeah, so that's what's going on. And then we are going to make a beautiful card today. So we're going to use the Country Home stamp set. This stamp set is gorgeous. I absolutely love the sentiments and the little buckets, and I don't know. It's just really very country, and that's where I live. I live in the country, for those of you who don't know that. And very much a country lifestyle. I have chickens and dogs, and we don't have a bunch of property, but what we do have is pretty rustic. So we've got a garden, and my grandpa lives on 40 acres, and that's pretty much where I grew up, which we're going to talk more about that on Thursday, by the way. So if you watch me on Mondays at 10:30, you should really make sure to tune in on Thursdays at 10:30, because I go live with my sister. And this week I had a question come in about our childhood. So we're going to answer that question. She doesn't even know yet, but we're going to answer that question. It'll be fun. So anyway, the Country Home stamp set is adorable. If you want this set, it is listed in the description of this video with a link, so you can purchase it. And then I've got some pieces here I've already prepped for our card, because I just wanted to kind of focus on the coloring and stuff of this card. All of the dimensions for this card are listed over on my blog. So if you want to repeat this card and make exactly the same card or one close to it, you can do that by going over to my blog at loveandstampin.com. Then click on blog, and it will be there. And all the dimensions are listed in the blog post, along with all the supplies. And you can shop with me at shoploveandstampin.com. Okay, so I've got these pieces of Country Lane Designer Series paper, which I absolutely love. It is one of my, so this is a great example of why you can't just look at paper in the catalog. you seriously have to get a paper sampler or order one of all of them, because basically it's one of those situations where until you see the paper up close, you think, that's not awesome. And then you see it and you're like, oh, holy Moses, I couldn't have lived my life without playing with this paper. So this is kind of that paper for me. When I saw it in the catalog, I was like, it's okay. But then when I got it in my hands, I love it. And I probably have used more of it than I've used of any other paper in the holiday catalog, actually. It just is a really pretty paper, and it lends itself really well to creating. So, and the colors are just so fall, right? So I've got another piece of the designer series paper here that I've cut, and you can see I kind of set it off of this layer here and above this layer here. So you've got all the different elements peeking out a little bit, and that's really important when you're making cards, to not cover up all your elements. You want everybody to have their fair share. Let's put it that way. So we're going to set this piece aside because we're going to do our stamping and coloring. So this was my idea for this card, was to stamp the flowers here and then have the little bucket down below. So I'm going to show you that. So we're going to ink this up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. A really great option for this would be to stamp it in your Stamparatus or your stamping tool. I just didn't think to do that, frankly. And then I'm just going to stamp it right here. And then we are going to do the harvest. Let's see, it says Happy Harvest Blessings. And we're going to stamp this here. So I'm just using the one ink. You could use Early Espresso for this part, or the Blackberry Bliss, or any other color that would kind of match your colors here. But I thought, you know what, you already have this ink out, you might as well use it. You might be wondering why I'm using this ink, and that's because I am going to use my alcohol markers. These are Stampin' Blends markers, for those who are not familiar. Stampin' Up! Has an alcohol-based marker, and these are them. They're called Stampin' Blends, and they are fabulous. So I own Copic markers, which are another alcohol marker. They're very expensive. The price point on them is pretty high. And I always say these are a great gateway drug. So if you're somebody who likes to color and you want to try out alcohol markers, this is a great place to start. And then if you decide, oh my gosh, I'm totally addicted to this and I want to make thousands of dollars of investment into getting alcohol markers, then you could buy Copics. But a set of Stampin' Blends costs $9. So you can get them in a combo pack, and they come light and dark. So when you color with them, you don't have to think about anything. You're not having to figure out some sort of numbering schematic. You're not having to think about how the colors are going to work together. You literally just purchase the combo of the light and the dark marker and you're done. Now, is there a limit to your abilities with these? Yes, you cannot do crazy, insane coloring with these because there's not enough color variants, but you can get pretty close. I mean, I do a pretty good job, I must say. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I do a pretty good job with just the two. So I'll show you some of that now. All right, so for my greenery in this, I chose to use Old Olive, and these markers are listed in the description of this video. Looks like I might have some questions coming in. Nope, just hellos. Okay. So if you do have any questions while I'm coloring about coloring, please feel free to ask. So one of the big differences between blends and Copics is that because you don't have 4 different colors to use to make one color, and you're just using the one, I like to start with my darkest color first and put in all of my shadows. So that's what I'm doing here. Any of the areas that I feel like would be darker naturally is where I'm going to add the green and the darker green, I should say. And then I'm going to leave the rest lighter. So then I can come in with my light marker and I can color the white area and color into the dark, and it blends beautifully. So with Copic markers, I like to cover my entire area that I'm coloring with my lightest color first, and then I go in with all my other colors and start doing all of my blending. The problem with that with these markers is if you put too much ink on this paper and then try to blend, you are going to end up with a mess. It just does not work as well. It just does not work as well with these markers. So the best thing to do is add your darks, which are your shadows, and then go in with the light to add your lighter areas so there's some contrast. So I don't know if you can actually see the contrast because this is such a small image and it's kind of hard to see, but you can see it better when I hold it up. So I'm going to now use the Highland Heather. So this is, I think these are available in the holiday catalog, but at any rate, they're linked. And again, you could go to shoploveandstampin.com to purchase any of these blends, and you can get the combo packs. So this is the light and dark Highland Heather, and I'm just going to start with my dark, and I'm going to come in where the flower would kind of go in, like where the petal would curve in and under. And that will be my darker area. And I'm actually going over it a couple times to darken it up. And that's a really cool thing about alcohol markers. You can layer them. So as I add more, it's going to get darker. Then I'm going to go in with my light Highland Heather, and I'm going to color the white areas and blend into the dark areas. So you're kind of pushing the color around, and I want to show you the back of this. You can see that the ink is coming through. It is supposed to do that. And actually, I should have another piece of paper here that I'm coloring on top of, but since these are such tiny images, I feel like I can kind of get away with it. So FYI, if you're doing a project and you don't want bleeding to happen, make sure you put paper underneath. So I'm just going to go back in and add a little bit more depth with this darker marker because I really want to have a difference there in the two. And then instead of going all the way out to the edge of this flower with my blend, I'm not. I'm just going to kind of keep it close. Hope that makes sense. And then I've got a couple little flowers here, and I'm going to go ahead and color them as well. And I'm going to stay darker on the edges where it looks like it's tucked behind this flower, because that would be the area that would have a shadow. And then I'm going to go in with my lighter marker and color the areas that would not be in the shadows. Actually, there's a little flower right back there. I'm gonna make that really dark so it moves back. So when you make something dark, it will move back, and when you make something light, it will move forward. That's something that you can remember, just a little quick tip. I'm just reading your guys' comment. Oh, good. Yay. I'm going to make this card later today. I just love it when people say that. Okay. And then I have my Mango Melody dark marker, and I actually chose not to do any blending for this because I just wanted all these little pieces to be the darker color, and then this guy to be dark. So I'm just going to color the entire thing with no blending. And that's the beauty of this. You can make those decisions based on, you know, whatever you feel, like if it's something that's going to bother you or not. Then I'm taking my dark smoky slate, and I'm using the bullet point, and I'm actually going to darken up all these little holes that would be like they have seeds. Because again, I want those to move back and have some depth, and I want the yellow to pop forward. Okay, that's it. That's all the coloring I have to do for that part. So we're gonna take this now and add it, because those other ones that are white, that's cotton. So I don't want to color the cotton because it's white. So I'm just gonna leave it. You could put some shadows in there if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. So there's this piece, okay? So now we're going to get into some fancy coloring with this little guy here, just using the 2 markers. And I really want to show you this technique because it's really, really fun to do. Hi from Indiana. Hello, Kimberly. Oh, I just love that you guys are sharing my video. Thank you so much. So for this, I'm going to grab a scrap paper and stick it behind this can, because I'm going to be putting quite a bit of ink down here and I want it to move nicely, and having paper behind it will help it do that. Hi, Judy. So I've got my light and dark smoky slate markers, and actually I'm also going to grab my color lifter, which really isn't a color lifter. It just moves the color. So we're going to start out and we're going to, so with stamping, a lot of times the artist who designs a stamp gives you a hint of where the shadows would be. They do that by putting in all these little marks. You see all these marks? That is her way of giving us a hint that there would be shadowing there. So we're going to start with our darkest and just pull it forward in flicking motions like this. Okay, so you're just kind of flicking the marker and lifting at the end. So you kind of have these strokes that are happening, and then we're going to do the same up here. It's really going to be the same for the whole thing. The handles are just going to be dark. I'm not even messing with the shadowing on those because why? It's stamping, right? And this little area here technically should be cut out. I should tell you, I stamped this and I hand cut it out, but I just wanted to save us time in our video here. And then you can see here, I'm going a little bit smaller on this shadowing. So I'm not going as far in, okay? Oh, thanks, Marianne. Okay, I love coloring. So it's something I could definitely teach on a lot. So now I've got my light smoky slate, and rather than bring this all the way to the center, I'm going to come over the top of my dark, and I'm going to come about right here, still leaving some white down the middle of this can. This is going to create dimension and as if it looks round and as if there's light hitting the front of the can. So if we just color all one solid color, it looks pretty flat and it loses some of its dimension and it loses the illusion of being a cylinder. So I'm going to just do this on each side, just like I did with the dark. And you can see the blend isn't awesome. It's not happening yet, but it's going to. You just watch. Okay, so you can see there's some pretty harsh lines here in between my 2 colors. And I don't like that. That bothers me. So what I don't want to have happen is I don't want to get this color too dark because I've laid this down and I want it to be lighter. So in order to not have that happen, I'm going to go right on the edge of those 2 and just kind of color. But I'm not going all the way to the center. And this is how you preserve that color being lighter. So now you can see it's starting to blend more and we're starting to lose that line. Now I can go further. Now when I do this, it's going to double up where this is, where I've already laid this down, and it's going to still preserve more light in the middle. But all of this is going to start to blend really, really, really well. Okay, so now I've got this light spot in the middle that's white basically. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm going to go right up the center. And I'm going to soften out those edges. That's all this is doing, is softening the edges in the middle. So then you end up with this. So it really comes together nicely. And like right here, I've got a little bit of a harsh line, so I can just go right back in and blend right over the top of that so that it goes away. Now, if I want to add darker to the edges, just do this. Go back in with my darker marker, and I can really turn up that illusion that this is rounded by adding more ink just to the very, very edge and maybe to the bottom. Okay. Now, one of my favorite tricks to do when I color, I gotta grab the right marker here. Give me just a second. This black, yeah. Is I like to take a black marker and go around the edges after I've colored something, so that if there's any white showing, it seals it up and it makes it black, and that will really make your image pop. Okay, so then we can add this to our card. See how messy that is on the back? That's a good thing. You want that ink to come through, because when it comes through the fibers, then it starts moving around, and that's what you want. If it won't go into the paper and move around, it won't blend. So you need it to do that. So the top of my can here, my milk jug, is adhesive, and the bottom is dimensionals. So I'm going to peel these away. And place this right here as if it's holding those flowers. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I just love it. This is one of my favorite cards that I've made in a long time. And my sister actually said she was one of her favorites as well. She really liked it because she likes the colors, the fall colors. And then we're going to go up here, and I'm going to move this end of this paper all the way to the edge here of this cardstock. And I've talked so much about the coloring, we never had story time. So that's it. That is the card. Kathy says, oh, now I really need the stamp set. I already have the paper. I'm telling you guys, it is so easy to use. It is beautiful. The sentiments are gorgeous. You don't want to miss out on this stamp set. Make sure that you add this to an order and pick it up before it's gone, or before it ends up on back order or something like that. And again, you can shop in my online store at shoploveandstampin.com. Thank you, Denise. Oh, I'm so glad you were here, Joel. I hope that you have an awesome lunch. Okay, so I think that's everything as far... Oh, a giveaway. Hello. So yeah, all the supplies are listed on my blog. All the dimensions for the card are listed on my blog. So you can grab it there. So I hope you enjoyed this card. Let's do a giveaway. Okay, so I've got some Halloween treats that I need to get out of this house because it's almost Halloween and I want somebody to be able to create with this. So I've got the stamp set here, Spooky Eek, Frights and Delight. There's a little ink pad that goes with it. It's basic gray. And then I've got some of the beautiful black sparkly ribbon from the holiday catalog. And these is all going to go into one giveaway. And we are going to choose a winner now. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to push the wheel. Winner is... Marianne McGinnis. Gosh, Marianne, you just win all the time, girl. Okay, so let's put her name on this. And I think we already have your address because you place orders with me. So I've got your address. So you don't need to message me or anything. We'll just pop this in the mail to you. So that's the giveaway for today. And this is the card, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you got something out of it. I'm going to be uploading this video to Facebook, so if you are, YouTube. So if you're watching this video after the fact, please know that it's no longer live. And I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Talk to you soon.